Susan.
Hi, Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
So Brenda is in my higher level mastermind, and she is an amazing entrepreneur and wife and mom and friend and thought leader. And Brenda and I have gotten to know each other pretty well this year. And I interviewed her. You may or may not have seen an interview I did with Brenda in Rich Coach Club earlier in the year, right when the pandemic hit. And I was so impressed because she had her highest sales ever. I think it's changed, but back then
Yeah.
it was the month of April. But I want just you to speak from your heart for a few minutes about what happened between then and now, because I think there's also a big update.
Yeah, actually, so today's the first day of October, which is actually feels a little crazy, but last month was my new highest month revenue ever. So this year has been, and hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here. So it's been just like a year. It's kind of like it came hand in hand. It's been a year of a lot of challenges and also a lot of up leveling. And I think when you decide to let a challenge be an opportunity for an up level, like that's exactly what you can make it. And so Susan, you had reached out about a turnaround moment, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's three for sure, and it's hard to pick one. So you just mentioned one, like back, it was, I had just wrapped up February, and it was like my lowest revenue month ever since I had started my business. And I was like, so much fear is one way to describe it. And at the same time, if you can remember, that first week of March, second week of March was like, we're in a pandemic. Like, what is coronavirus? Go buy all the toilet paper, like just fear, right? So there was so much fear. And so that was one. And then fast forward to early June-ish, I believe, was when we had the video go viral of George Floyd, and then like so many, at least in my experience, like intense emotions around like race and racism. And so myself as a first generation Latina, Mexican American, and like that, even especially actually in the life coach world, my experience so many times is like, well, I'm like the only non-white person here, to be honest. And so that was a moment for me. And like you actually, one of the descriptors you just used for me as a thought leader, I think back in that month was like when I had to really decide, again, challenge. And in that moment, like the emotion was anger. Like there was so much anger. So first was like fear, and then so much anger. And I'm going to bring this all full circle, but so much anger. And I was like, the question that I wanted to share with all of you today was like, in that moment, what am I going to do with this? Because that challenge and all of that emotion too became an opportunity. So like, what am I going to do with this? And that was my moment where I really, with tears and everything, and my house being a mess, which brings me to moment number 3 here in a second, was like, what am I going to do with this? And what I decided is like, I'm going to step out and up to this, like louder and bolder and stronger than I have ever in my life. And so that challenge and that emotion, like I was able to essentially fuel into an up level, and like my revenue came up right along with that. And then fast forward, probably not too much after that, maybe a month or so, like I remember we were in our mastermind meeting, and then I have like some of my our mastermind colleagues, you all can probably remember, like every time I talked on that call, like I cried because I was like a mess. I felt like a mess. And so the emotion I could share for that time would probably be overwhelmed, because also I'm fairly a new mom. Like my daughter is a toddler. She's not even a year and a half. And so 2020 is like, there's all these things going on, but for me also, like I'm figuring out mom, like being a mom, which is in and of itself probably would have been enough of a challenge, honestly, and like being a business owner. And so I was just like tired, like my kitchen was like always a mess, and my laundry was like always piled, and I was like, okay, this is not working. But anyways, that emotion there was like so much overwhelm and maybe even like burnout, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
burnout. All of that, again, this question, what am I going to do with this? So I had an opportunity once again to make a decision. And with that, I decided actually to like get into full on research mode. And if you guys have never heard of a house manager, because I hadn't, and then I did, and now I have one. And this is like a huge turnaround moment because like I get to do my hair now, and like she makes dinner, like our dinner is already ready for later. And I'm over here like in my office coaching my clients, and our house manager is organizing laundry, and she like gets rid of, my daughter's name is Gianna, she gets rid of the stains on her, little onesies. I'm over here coaching my, like, everything is an up level, but it's been me almost like stepping up. I was gonna say embracing, but embracing is like almost like doesn't really describe that like moment. It's like stepping up to the challenge in this very like strong, grounded, bold way, but with the fear and with the anger and with the overwhelm. Like it's all there with me. Like I don't want to present it as this like there's this pretty bow, moments,
Right.
all, pretty moments. No, it's like, but it is a bold moment. And so there was always a decision of what am I going to do? What am I going to do with this? Here I
Right.
am,
Like,
my kitchen's a mess or whatever. Like, what am I going to do with this? And so here we are now. When we started in the mastermind, like back in January,
mm-hmm.
my like biggest breakthrough at that point had been essentially 350K in a 12-month period. And as of last month, I'm like 450K, or yeah, 450K-ish plus a little
Yep.
bit in the 12-month period.
Yep.
And it's been like challenging, but it's been meeting these moments with, I get to make a decision here, like, what am I going to do with this? And so that's what I wanted to share.
Well, and that's leadership, like
Yeah.
embodying the turnaround spirit with like, yeah, these things are happening. I'm enraged about social justice issues. I'm looking around, like what I have seen you do is really, like you said, rise up or up level. Like, hey, a CEO, it's okay for me as a woman to invest in something like a house manager so that I can enjoy time with my daughter and have someone else do things that don't prevent me from doing my best work. And so like I opened today talking about developing physical health and mental health and leadership. And part of developing strong financial health is recognizing that we as women don't have to continue the roles, the invisible workload. Like you don't have to be the one to do the laundry. You don't have to be the one to do the cooking or all of the traditional stuff that we as women, even working women, just take on.
Yeah.
And it's been beautiful to see you continuously hit your milestones while doing less of the stuff you don't want to be doing, and also using your voice in a new and powerful way, which we're going to talk some more about tomorrow. That you not whitewashing yourself has led to more business.
Totally. And like it's led to even new ideas. One thing that I just implemented as of October in my program is we're going to have this monthly call with my clients together, and it's just going to be a block party where we just get together and there's certain things we're going to be doing, and it's going to be celebration. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually easy. Here's what I've discovered discovered is a good word for it, because I really went looking for it, to get to this place. There's almost like things that I just had to break through, ideas of like my worthiness, like me being less, or people perceiving me as less worthy and not investing in because of like who I am, directly related to culture and ethnicity and all of that. But anyways, I shared like these ideas with my clients, like these new things, and they're so excited, like they get so much more value. But here's what I was going to say. It's actually easier to to not edit myself. I'm like, this is easier. I feel like I have so much energy now because it's like, I'm almost like unbottling instead of like trying to, like was so much, it's like trying to keep a beach ball under the water. And now I'm like, nope, this is it. Like,
whoosh, here's the geyser, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And you know what I was going to say? Yeah, Brenda unleashed, said Stacy. It totally feels that way. Like I have so much energy right now and so much motivation and inspiration. And I'm also really ready for like, bring on the haters. Like this is the magnetism of like, you either love this and like, I'm for you, or you can go find whatever you're looking for somewhere else. But I had been following you for a while, Susan, like years. And I would hear you talk about invisible workload of women. And I mean, I knew what you were talking about, but I never really experienced it until I became a mom. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is what she's talking about.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Well, Brenda, you're such an inspiration. How can people find you if they want to soak up some more of your amazing energy?
Yeah, well, you could find me on my podcast, which I have a new episode every week. Then there's plenty to go binge on because it's almost 4 years of podcasting. It's called the Last 10 Pounds Podcast. So that's what I do. And I actually just rewrote all of my copy on my website. So that's going to have a huge refresh with like all the, Brenda fully unleashed version of everything. But that's brendalomeli.com. And if you go, I mean, you can go there now, but if you go in like a month, it's gonna be,
go now and go later so they can see the before and after.
Oh my gosh, totally. Like I know the work I'm doing right now that will be updated in a month is like my 7-figure work. So right. I'm that confident that I'm saying you heard it here first. So you could go there now and then go back like, 4 weeks, it should be all updated. And that would be really cool too for you to see that. But those are the two places, my website, my podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. And we should also mention that Brenda works about 20 hours a week. So she is a great example at making multiple 6 figures currently, while also not compromising very strong business hours and having a life and not just a successful, thriving business.
It's more like 25 right now because I'm so because I'm so on fire, like all this copy stuff, and I got like a photo shoot scheduled, and I'm like, okay, it's a little bit like B-Lo energy, J-Lo, B-Lo, like
B-Lo, I like it.
I'm feeling on fire, so I'm like tomorrow, for example, I told my mom, can you spend a little more time with Gianna? Because I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do this and this. But that's such a different kind of energy than the burnout and the overwhelm of like slave, you know what I mean? Feeling like
right,
overloaded. Yeah.
Right. I talked a little bit about that this morning, like being ambitious and not allowing people to label you in a bad way as an overachiever. It's like you can overachieve all you want, just don't over effort while you're doing it. Like achieve everything and also take care of yourself and have a life and all those things. And you're a beautiful example of that. So
well, thanks so much for having me on. And it's an honor to be able to share. And, I hope someone found some of that helpful for themselves.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Brenda. Yay!